Hi everyone, it's Kate from Fold Line. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2020 on Fold Line. I hope you had a lovely Christmas, you're feeling rested, glad for life to go back to normal. I know I am, definitely. I had a really good break, feeling very rested. So I thought I'd start the new year by mixing things up a little bit. And I'm doing something that we haven't ever done before, but I thought you guys might find it interesting. If you like it, let me know. If you don't like this sort of thing, then also let me know, because then I won't do it anymore. So the Golden Globes were on the last week at the weekend, and they're one of my favourite award ceremonies. I love it. You get to see all your favourite actors wearing really amazing, beautiful outfits. So I have decided I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different people's outfits, and I think I've got patterns nailed for them. Well, not 9. There's 2 at the end, which are sort of halfway there, but I could definitely do with your help. So there are a couple of kind of wild card options, which I definitely might need you to help me with. So I'm going to get started because we've got a few to get through, and yeah. Right, first person I've got is Reese Witherspoon, who was wearing Roland Mouret. I loved this dress. This is definitely one of my favourites of the ceremony. I think it looks amazing. There were quite a lot of dresses like this with these big sort of, they're almost not bows, but like these big sort of statements coming across the chest, not too close fitting. I think they're really, I just thought it was beautiful. So the pattern that I found to go with it is the Vogue 1533. I was pretty chuffed about this, I'm not going to lie. I thought this was really close. It's got that same kind of swooping neckline. It has a kind of tie at the side, which, you know, if you want to make it more like Reese's, you just ditch that. But in terms of the cut, it was pretty similar. It does have this sort of swooping kind of side panel seam, which is slightly different, but I think generally this was a pretty close match. And oh, let me tell you sizes. I haven't told you sizes. So it comes in sizes 6 to 22. So yes, sorry, I'm just having a look. So UK 4 to 20. Okay. So it's a really beautiful occasion dress, and if you feeling like 2020 is the year where you want to take on a big project, something like this would be amazing. And if you do make it, please will you let me know. The next person I've got is Naomi Watts, and she was wearing Armani. I loved this dress. I loved the two-tone fabric that is very similar in feel, but also kind of makes a statement, and that kind of crossover at the top is really beautiful. It looks like hers was made in a sort of chainmail fabric, which I appreciate might be difficult to source, but you know, if you start looking now you might find it. So the dress that I found to go with it is the Vogue 1498. I have to say there are quite a lot of Vogues because they seem to do kind of occasion wear. Kind of quite full-on occasion wear, which is kind of what we're looking for. So this comes in sizes 4 to 20, UK 4 to 20. I thought this was, again, I was quite pleased with this. It's got that it's got the same neckline. The only difference I can see is that it has this kind of seam down the front, so it almost overlaps rather than you'll see from the dress that Naomi was wearing. It's sort of it doesn't have that sort of wrap across the front, but in terms of the feel of it, it's pretty close. Obviously you'd need to extend it as well to make it full length if you wanted to, but I think this is a really lovely dress. The Vogue version also is a sort of wrap style, you can see from the line drawings, but I thought it was quite a fun sort of, yeah, it's quite a nice dress actually. And I think if you didn't want to make it in full on like black tie number, you can make it in something like linen. It would look lovely as well actually as a sort of summer dress. But yeah, I was pleased with myself for that one. Next we have got Gillian Anderson, who is wearing Sapphire. I hope I'm saying that correctly. How amazing is this dress? It's so beautiful. I love it. I love that sort of kind of the really simple underline or kind of simple dress, but then with this kind of statement bow on the top that kind of goes into the sleeve. This was the first dress I saw actually from what everyone had worn, and I was like, I really want to try and find this. This was the one that took me quite a long time. So I've got a good option. Obviously, with a lot of these, I'm not going to find perfect matches, but I think this is a good, definitely good base that you could create this if you wanted to. So we've got the Vogue 1579. So looking at this, you're like, yeah, that's pretty so-so, you know. It wouldn't actually take that much to get it changed so that it is closer to the one that Gillian Anderson's wearing. You'd need to make it sleeveless on one side, get rid of the bow belt, and then all you would need to do is add a loop, a kind of around here, similar to where, if I show you again what Gillian's wearing, this loop across here at the front, and then you've pretty much got it. It wouldn't, and it would look amazing, and definitely if you've got like a wedding coming up, or like you're going to the races maybe this summer, I think this would be a really interesting thing to try and make yourself. So beautiful, and she looked amazing in it. I think it was so nice. I don't know about you guys, but I noticed there was a lot less of the best dressed and worst dressed sort of media, which I hate because it's not very nice. Nah. So it was nice to see everyone being kinder to what everyone's worn, because I know how much work has gone into creating the outfit as the designer and getting it to fit and making the person wearing it feel comfortable. So yeah, anyway, loved that one. Next up we've got, I'm gonna have to get my phone out here because I've heard her name pronounced loads of times and I was like, oh gosh, how do you say that? So it's Saoirse Ronan, and if you look, her name is spelt Saoirse. So when I read that, I was like, I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's, yeah, Saoirse. So Saoirse Ronan was wearing Celine, beautiful slinky chainmail, again, another chainmail option, dress, very simple. She looked amazing in it. I thought her makeup to go with this was really beautiful as well. So I think I've got a really good option. It's not, in terms of the cut, it's not exactly the same in terms of the seam lines, but I actually think the one I'm going to show you is more interesting. So it's the Elizabeth gown from Named Clothing. It comes in sizes 4 to 18, UK 4 to 18. It's such a beautiful shaped dress actually, and I think if you could use this as a base to loads of different ones. So you can see from the line drawings, it's got this beautiful sort of kind of V underneath the bust. It's got princess seams, and down the front and back it's got the slit, which is the one that Saoirse was wearing. It's got a slit as well. It's got crossover straps on the back. I don't know what hers is like on the back, but I really liked that detail. I think it kind of looks really nice. You can see from the line drawings. Yeah, I was quite chuffed. So obviously you now need to go and source yourself chainmail fabric, but once you've got that, that's, I mean, pretty close, and I think it's really lovely shape actually. It's nice actually, having done this, like having a look through and kind of rediscovering patterns that you haven't seen for ages. So next up I have got, who have I got next? Oh, I've got Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who's wearing Ralph and Russo. I love this outfit. I love her. I think she's fantastic. The other thing that she is doing, which I think is amazing, so she's actually auctioning off this outfit to raise money for the fires in Australia, which is really fab. So it looks quite Chanel-y. You can see she's wearing, the fabric looks like a sort of a boucle, which is a classic kind of Chanel tweed. I really love the sort of satin on the lapels. It's beautiful, it looks amazing on her. So this one was quite easy. I thought this was a good option, and I've definitely spoken about this one before. So it's the Ava tailored jacket from Named, and the teeny trousers from Named as well. So they work perfectly together. The only thing that's slightly different is that there's a curve Phoebe's has got a curve around the bottom of the front of the jacket, but other than that I thought it was pretty close. I love this jacket. I think it is so great, and I've seen so many. I was having a look on Instagram. Whenever I do this, I then go and look on Instagram to see them on Real People, and they look, I've seen some amazing ones made on everyone, so definitely worth checking out. This comes in sizes, I haven't said, 4 to 18. You can tell I've had a break, can't you? Because I just don't seem to be able to get anything in the right order today. Yes, so that is, yes, so sizes, I've even forgotten what I've said, 4 to 18, UK 4 to 18. And this is available on the online shop. I haven't even said whether things are available on the online shop. All of the ones I've mentioned are, so if you did want to make yourself something mega, you can get a hold of them. Right, what have we got next? Oh yes, this one I really loved. So this is Glenn Close wearing Armani. I think it's really lovely. I think it's harder for a designer to dress an older woman and to make her feel comfortable, and I think this is incredible. I absolutely loved it. So it's this beautiful velvet long sleeved wrap sort of dress. It has a definite nod to tailoring. I like it with the double breasted. I found a really fantastic dress. I think that there are a few tweaks you need to make, but other than that you're pretty much there. So the dress I've got is the 1940s wrap dress from Sew Over It. So if we have a look at the line drawing, you will see where the picture that you can see of Lisa actually doesn't look like it is that similar. When you have a look at the line drawing, it's pretty close. So it's got that lovely kind of curved front. It's got a kind of, it's got a join at the side. If you put 4 buttons on like the one that Glenn Close was wearing, it'll look like it's double breasted, and it's got long sleeves. The only thing also is that you may want to add, I can see that she's got quite a lot of gathering in her skirt. There is a little bit in the 1940s wrap dress, but you might want to add a little bit extra and also lengthen it if you'd like it full length. So I thought that was pretty good. This, I haven't told you what size it comes in again. It comes in a UK 8 to 20 and it is available on the online shop. So yeah, I thought this was a really good option, and actually this dress is a classic, you know, I'm sure you'd get a lot of wear out of it. Right, where are we? I feel like I'm getting towards the end. So the next 3 are kind of, I don't think they're perfect matches, and I definitely, if anyone has got better suggestions, I am totally game. So if you see something, if you see me talking about something you think, actually Kate, you've totally missed the mark, let us know down below, because I'd love to hear, because these last 3 foxed me. So Helen Mirren wearing Dior. This dress was freaking beautiful. I loved it. I think it's so elegant. This was actually the second dress that I wanted to find. I searched and searched and searched. I don't think I've got a perfect kind of pattern. I've got kind of amalgamation of 2 patterns, and one of them is vintage. So it's got this beautiful sweeping neckline, it's got a belt, it's got a full skirt, it's got long sleeves. So the neckline was the main thing I started looking for. I could not find this on a modern pattern that's readily available. I looked everywhere. So what I have found is a vintage pattern, and it's a vintage McCall's 6035. It's 80s, as you can see from the styling, but it has that swooping kind of big kind of neck, I don't even know what you'd call it, like sash thing. I think there are available, I've had a look on Etsy and places, so they are kicking around. I'm not showing you kind of a unicorn that you can't buy. So you could get the neckline from that, and then you could get the bodice underneath. Then you could add a full skirt onto it. There is a gathered skirt you can see from the picture here, but obviously it comes down in a classic 80s style, sort of gathering from your hip. But I thought that was pretty close. If you can't be bothered to hunt out the vintage pattern, I've got another option. It's sort of in the same vein. It's not as wonderful as the Dior version, obviously. It is it's a Simplicity Vintage 1459. So you can see it's got the same feel, it's got the fit and flare, it's got a kind of neckline, the neckline is similar, it doesn't have that off the shoulder beautiful sweeping kind of thing that Helen Mirren is wearing, but it definitely has that feel. I think it's sort of halfway there. You could definitely take this and start to play around with it and get something kind of, you could build onto this as a base, and this is readily available, this pattern. You could build onto this as a base and then add that kind of neckline. Anyone can think of something else, let me know, because I'm gagging to find the perfect one. So next up we've got on the wildcard option, we've got Olivia Colman, who was in Emilia Wickstead. I thought this dress was amazing. I thought it was really clever, beautifully cut. She got a bit of flack for it, but I think at these things you should go bold if you feel like you want to. So I thought this was great. I had a bit of a look. I found a dress that is in the same vein. It's not as wonderful as this, obviously. So I found the Vogue 9239. It comes in sizes UK 4 to 20. It's available on the online shop. So this definitely to me has the same sort of feel. Obviously the neckline would need extending. It's a shift sort of dress, which is similar to the one that Olivia Colman's wearing. Obviously the seam line under the bust would need to move up from under the bust, but I thought this would be a good kind of building block to start on. You can see it's got these amazing sleeves, which you would need to add more fullness to them, and then kind of almost do like you know those hems, those sort of rolled, I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head, they're really, I don't know, you know, the ones where they're sort of poofed under, you need to sort of do that on the sleeve. But I think this is like a good starting point. If anyone has got any suggestions of anything better, I'd love to hear, because I think this would, you could definitely use this and get going, but it's not perfect. Last but definitely not least, this was probably again one of my absolute favourites, and I hunted and hunted and I didn't get the perfect pattern. This is Jody Coma, and she was wearing Mary Catrinzou. I've definitely said that wrong. How fab was this dress? She looks, I just love her. I thought she was wonderful. And that green, that beautiful satin green looked amazing. So I looked and looked and looked. This is what I've come up with, suggestions welcome, as your start off building block pattern. The Cynthia Rowley 1105. I thought this, you definitely get that fullness and that big sort of statement shape from it. Obviously you need to extend it so it's full length. Then you'd obviously want to start building the collar and then adding the sleeves. So it's a kind of starting point, but I don't think it's perfect, and I'd love to hear if anyone else has got any suggestions for this, because I did a lot of hunting and I just didn't do wonderfully. This is also, I should say, this pattern is out of print, but there are lots of them on eBay and Etsy as well. So if you're ever looking for vintage patterns, Etsy and eBay are really fantastic for them. Right, so that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed that, something a little bit different to start the year. We will be back next week with more of the same, and that's it from us. Bye!